So here I am today in Denmark, Tennessee, and we're doing a video tutorial actually about how to remove the gooseneck and drop the deck of this RGN trailer. The manufacturer is BWS. It's pretty easy to operate, but just in case somebody does need this information, here it is. First thing you need to do is push in your trailer air supply, your trailer brake. You're gonna need that extra air because this trailer is pneumatic. Also, another thing you want to do is increase your RPMs. Right here, we're gonna increase them to about 7,200 or something like that. Then you're gonna go outside and play with the levers. Before we get to the levers, however, it's important to know that for loading and unloading, it's very important to turn this thing right here. This will give you stability. As you can see, the trailer is getting lower. The upper deck is coming down. So this will give more stability whenever you're loading those excavators, dozers, and so on and so forth. It will give you that extra stability. Next, here is something I use always when disconnecting and connecting my gooseneck. Firstly, it's this 4x6. It's been through some stuff. As you can see, it's pretty much destroyed. But this thing right here is gonna go up on the frame of my tractor. And then we have the bungee cords, and you'll see what I do with those. So here's the 4x6 on my frame, and I actually measured the frame. I went to Home Depot and got myself this 4x6 cut to size. I wish I would have gotten a spare. I mean, I have some more over there, but it's not perfectly sized, and I like things to be perfect. Either way, now it is time to lift up, to raise up the stinger. That's the way BWS calls it, the stinger of the gooseneck. Make sure it lands up on your wood and stays in place. Once it's touching the wood, start also raising your main deck. And then you have this arm right here. This arm, you need to pull it out once it's free. It's stuck yet so far. We gotta wait for it to free up and pull it out. It sometimes takes a while, even though, like, especially when the terrain is not particularly straight. Okay, I have the leeway now. As you can see, there's a little bit of space here. So now I'm just pulling this arm out, and I am bringing it all the way forward because I need it right here. The important part about disconnecting this trailer, and sometimes also the one that gives us the most headache, is this. You need some space here to remove the boots. Like this needs to be able to wiggle. And whenever you're hauling something heavier, it takes a while for this to happen because the airbags will inflate very slowly for the landing gear and push up this trailer to create that space that we need. So you gotta be patient or get an extra compressor, whichever one suits you the best. I'm gonna show you what I do here. So as you can see, the space was created for me to be able to move the legs any whichever way I need to. And this is the exact position that I need to put them. This one, I left the boot on because I have this bungee cord that I'm gonna hook up to the boot and make sure that this is kept upright so that whenever I disconnect the gooseneck and then come back to reconnect it, it doesn't break the arm, it doesn't damage the trailer. That is an important part of the process. So I'm gonna hook it up and show you how it looks once it's done. Okay, I hooked up the boot and this lever right here, this arm. I hooked it up so that whenever my upper deck is gonna drop, it's not gonna damage the arm. And when I come back to reconnect, it's not gonna hit the arm either. So this is good and secure, and I can use it just like this. This is my way of doing it. If you find a better one, let me know. But I usually put one of those boots up here and hook my bungee to it, and that's the way it holds it up there. Again, if you find a better way, let me know. I'll be happy to try something new here. So now we're gonna drop the deck, like you see here what the setup is. The bungees are all the way in that hole. I used like 40-inch bungees, I think, for that. So now, time to lower this baby. But first, pull your pins out. Right over there. So that's when the pins are going to come out. Those things over there, you got to make sure they don't catch onto the barrels of the one on the right doesn't catch onto the barrels of the one on the left. That sometimes happens, but if you do it right, it shouldn't. Okay, one's out. Process of lifting up the trailer again, which is not a problem. I'm gonna start by just lifting up the gooseneck. Sometimes that'll give it that extra space that it needs to pop out, but sometimes it doesn't, so I have to do it again. Usually it does though. This place here is very, very sloped, so I'm guessing that might have something to do with that. RGNs love straight spaces, so try to stay on the terrain as level as possible with an RGN. Although this trailer is definitely more forgiving than some others. Okay, as soon as I lifted the trailer just a little bit, my second arm has popped out, so my pins are out on both sides. So now it's time to drop this deck. So we're gonna do lower. Lowering the main deck. So then there's going to be some airlock from the system, and I don't really like that because when I disconnect it starts hissing at me. Okay, upper deck started dropping, which means put this to hold and watch your upper deck. When the distance is around like 1 inch from the ground, that's when you turn this lever to hold as well. This means that your trailer is set up properly to be disconnected right now. Your pins are out, your arms and legs are secured, should I say. So now, you are good to disconnect. However, do not forget to pull out that trailer parking brake button. Because otherwise, all the pressure from over there is going to hit you. So that's what I'm going to do now. Then I'm going to disconnect my airlines and I'll show you what's next. Okay, so we set the trailer parking brake. We disconnected the airlines. The place where they decided to put those airlines, I'm not particularly fond of it, but I've gotten used to it anyway. So now make sure your attached. Now, there is a very little space there. You can see it, but it has not been dragging. So I pulled it further a little bit from the trailer. Now, what you gotta do is raise that upper deck. Just about so. It doesn't have to be all the way. And then pull forward some more and leave yourself enough room to load whatever equipment it is you're hauling. And then you're gonna back up and pretty much repeat the process in reverse with all the hooking up and everything. There are other things you can do so that you don't have to hop out of the truck and lift up the upper deck when disconnecting. So when you park your truck and trailer, before you do any of the stuff that I've just done, just make sure you dump your airbags on your drives. That will lower it up a little bit, like lower it down a little bit. And this way, whenever you're ready to disconnect from the lower deck, all you have to do is inflate your airbags on the drives and pull forward. You know, like you're gonna be good doing that. Keep in mind, only when connecting back, get close to the trailer first, but leave yourself some space and make sure you're aligned right here. Once you've done that, you can drop your air from your bags, or if you did the way I do it, just lower your deck back. Again, watch the space that you have here. Make sure you don't get it all the way to the ground. Just like so. I got about an inch distance there. And then you can back up, connect your air lines, your electrical, increase your RPMs, and start hooking up everything. Set your trailer brake after that, you know, after you connect your air lines, and connect everything back the way it was. Now, one thing that's important to mention is this boots right here. These boots determine your height from the ground. So this is the medium one. There's one that's also slimmer. That one will get you the closest possible to the ground. Like you'll be about 3 inches off the ground or something like that. And then there's one that is thicker than this, and that one will lift you the most off the ground. Now that one probably will give you about a good 10 inches or so. I mean, I've measured it hauling different stuff, and it always depends on how heavy the load is as well. Now, another thing that you have control over when it comes to riding height is right here in the back. So it's gotten dirty. There's dust here, but you see you also have air ride adjustment right here. Now mine is set to lower. I don't really need it higher than this. Where I go, it's just perfect like this. But in case you ever want to raise it up a little bit, you have the instructions right here. So don't forget, before you start driving, whether you got unloaded, loaded, you connected everything back, but before you leave the shipper or receiver or anywhere else you go and have to disconnect, make sure you put your air suspension dump valve back into charged position. Otherwise, you're gonna see smoke coming out of your wheels here. Process of reconnecting my trailer, and I thought I'd give you a couple more tips. So when reconnecting your air lines, first of all, yes, you can grease them up a little bit. Just make sure you don't get any inside. Like use some grease on the sleeves here. It helps. Make sure there's no space left whenever you hook them up, and tag on them to make sure they're fully connected. Okay. Now I'm backed up. It will take a little bit to adjust the position of the upper deck and the lower deck in order for the pins to go back in. So especially whenever you're loaded, and the heavier it is, the longer it'll take. It will take a while for those pins to pop in and for the trailer to lift to a proper position. Now I'll try to show you without taking too much time, especially since I'm not loaded right now, but you know. Other advice I have for you is do not remove these bungees until your pins are in and everything is secured. Mainly because the arm and the foot is gonna be in the way. So give it a while, make sure it's adjusted first. You're gonna know when it's adjusted its position because the trailer will shift slightly. And that hasn't happened so far, so what I'm gonna do is now lower just I'm gonna push in the pins and raise it back up. You see? And get out. Actually, both of them did. Seamlessly, smoothly, nicely. Very easy. So the pins are out, which that is the good part. We like that. Now, in order to get these legs in a proper position, you're gonna have to lift the trailer. The heavier the load, the higher you're gonna have to lift it, and the harder it's gonna be to do so. You can use some 4x6s or whatever other wood you have to do that by putting some wood under the front right here and resting the trailer on those first, and then sticking some more wood under this legs. And we have the landing gear right here. And this way, you know, your landing gear and your airbags are not going to have to work as hard and it's going to make your life a little bit easier with a heavier load. Now your trailer has been lifted up almost close to where it needs to be. So what you're going to do now is remove the bungees, those ones right here, and make sure you can put that arm back where it belongs. And give your Cinderella some shoes. Always the thing you do first is secure this arm here. And I'm gonna have to set my phone away because I cannot do it on the hand. Alright, the arm is securely in. Now, your legs here, you can see they're straight pretty much where you want them. So now, let's give this pretty lady her shoes. Like so, and then just make sure you put this back in. Again, need both arms for that. One thing you gotta remember, the higher you lift this trailer, the more space you're gonna have here. That only will happen if your pins are in the correct position and flat, and that arm is tucked in and secured. So please, 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 make sure you do that. Then, lady got boots. Everything's okay. I'm gonna lower this. And just do a walk around. After everything is done, when you think you've done everything, just make sure you still double check everything. Like, my lights are off now, so I cannot check if my electrical is connected correctly. But I'm gonna turn them on and make sure that they work before I head anywhere. All the air is dumped and that lift hides and tucked in there all the way. all your landing gear goes up all the way from under the trailer, like all the way up. Only then you can turn this from lower to hold. Make sure you do that before you start your trip. And of course, hide away any loose objects or secure them. That's it.